I caught a glimpse through his doorway and into his living room. I saw just where my good neighbor had gone. She was choked up.
My God! Horror Source Party. True Story Neighbor Horror Story 1. Okay.
The first place I lived in after moving out of my parents' house was this tiny, dingy apartment on the outskirts of town. It wasn't the nicest place, but it was affordable, and it was mine. Because the rent was so cheap, there were quite a few students from the nearby community college living there. Most of us were friendly with each other, and we'd hang out sometimes. But there was one guy who just killed the vibe whenever he was around. I don't think any of us knew his name, or even really managed to have a conversation with him.
How the hell you have somebody in a damn group you don't even know this nigga name? You could've, like, what? That don't even make no damn sense.
We all mentioned seeing him linger in the laundry room, despite him wearing the same set of clothes every single day. Most of us wrote him off as the token creep of the neighborhood. This is just what you get for trying to save on rent. After all, he wasn't the only downside to that particular apartment complex. The walls were pretty much paper thin. I could usually hear just about everything go on in my neighboring apartments. That being said, I still didn't mind. My next-door neighbor was this really attractive girl from the community college. Of course, I always hoped that being so close to her meant that we'd eventually run into each other and maybe hit it off, but I didn't actually see much of her. Unfortunately, it was almost like she was trying to avoid being seen, as she would run out of her door and slam it in the middle of the night all the time. But since the walls were so thin, I could hear most of what she was like without meeting her. She was on her phone a lot, talking really loud to someone on the other side. Every once in a while, she'd have a friend over for the night and I'd lose some sleep. But otherwise, she seemed like a nice person to me. There was one night, though, where things seemed off. It was a Sunday night and I'd fallen asleep quite
Alright, Jay, we about to go ahead and get off live because I'm watching scary shit and I just heard something. Okay. Let's just fucking leave. How about that, bro?
heavily after hanging out with my friends for a few hours. I woke up in the dead of night to the sounds of shouting and screaming coming through the wall from inside her apartment.
Get out! You're ugly! Like I'd ever. Ah!
It sounded like a heated argument, which was weird. I'd never heard my neighbor fight before. I could tell someone else was in the apartment. They were talking back. Come on, please!
I don't understand that you have to run away like this. I love you. This is ours.
I shrugged it off and rolled over in my bed, thinking he was some lackluster playboy getting burnt and butted out. It was none of my business, and I didn't have the energy to do anything about it, so I went back to sleep.
Okay, yeah,
But
right,
the next
right,
morning, I woke up worried. For some reason, I had a sinking feeling about my neighbor. I stepped outside of my apartment and knocked on her door. Hello? There was no answer. I knocked a few more times, but still, nothing on the other side. I sighed in frustration and stepped back. We were on the second floor breezeway, so I leaned up against the railing and looked around the parking lot for her car. The parking spots were assigned in the same order as the apartments, so her car would be right next to mine. Her car is here. I thought I heard the door open, but when I turned back, it wasn't her who answered. The door to the other apartment next to hers was ajar, and the eyes of the neighborhood creep were staring at me. Can I help you? What's the deal with all the knocking? I had no idea he even lived in that unit until then. I never saw him enter or exit once in the months I'd been there. Slowly, I walked up to his doorway, but he continued to hide behind his door. Hey, have you seen your neighbor? Who? The girl, man. You know who I'm talking about. Oh, the girl. Her name was Lily. He scowled at me like I offended him, but I was confused. How did he know her name, and I didn't? Oh, wait, man. What do you mean her name was Lily? I don't know. You don't know? Whatever. Look, I'm worried about her. I heard some crazy stuff from her place last night, and she's not answering her door. Have you seen her recently? I don't know. You don't know if you've seen her recently? Dude, I know your walls are just as thin as mine. I know you heard something weird last night, too. Come on, you heard it, didn't you? I don't know. All of a sudden, I realized just how crazy tense the creep had become. He still held the door half closed with white knuckles, sweat dripping down his forehead. He was no longer actually saying anything, but he never broke eye contact with me for a moment. Hey, I don't want to freak you out, I'm sorry. Why don't we just sit down inside and talk about this? It's early. No! The creep slammed the door shut with surprising strength, and right on my finger. Ah! 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 Oh, that bastard! I reeled back and reluctantly looked at my hand. Yeah, we'll say that finger was definitely broken.
Ooh,
One more thing about cheap rent. You get cheap locks. In the rush of shock and anger, the sight of my gnarly finger broke me. I kicked the creep's door as hard as I could, channeling all the pain into it. I really didn't expect it to happen, but the creep's door flew open with a burst of splinters and a wimpy scream from the creep himself. But that didn't matter when I caught a glimpse through his doorway and into his living room. I saw just where my good neighbor had gone. She was choked up.
Oh my god! What the fuck, bro? Holy shit!
Into several pieces, arranged on the floor as part of some ritual involving drawings in her blood, and a lot of her dirty laundry, which
What the fuck? Oh, what, bro?
assume he stole. Dozens of bloody bras were strung around his room, along with several clumps of Lily's ginger hair, some pieces with scalps still attached to it. The sight was unbearable. I'd seen enough for a morning. I didn't want to fight a guy who chops up bodies, or be his neighbor, for that matter. It was a terrible tragedy what happened to that girl, and I feel stupid and guilty to this day, knowing that I might have been able to do something about it, but didn't even try. I didn't stay for long. Right after I got off the phone with the police, I called my landlord and broke my lease. I couldn't believe I was able to sleep through the murder of my neighbor. All I can say is, this is the last time I will ever rent out a cheap room, because you truly get what you pay for.
I mean, we just don't know where she is. I mean,
What about the park?
Oh, this is dead. Oh, this is dead ass. Oh, this is a dead ass story. Holy what?
Lot area. I think that's where they have recovered the body or whatever they recovered from there.
body.
They took out a body there earlier. We don't know if it's the same person or not. Are you okay, sir?
I think I need to sit down.
Who in that complex do I need to talk to?
I don't know.
Oh my god, this is dead ass.
Tell me. I want to know.
I don't know where she is.
Why is there blood in your bathroom?
I don't know.
Yes, you do know. Why, Steven? Who did it?
I don't know.
Creating custom clothing with Tap Stitch is simple.
Oh
Start